Ike Frazier Industries presents another vinyl show with Ike Frazier. This channel will be discussing rare records from the rock era, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and beyond. Discussing rare mixes, mono stereo variations. If it rocks and it's on vinyl, we'll be discussing it on this channel, and we hope you'll come along for the ride. Is 60 Minute Man a rock and roll record or just an R&B novelty record? In 1950, Sid Nathan, founder of King Records, one of the largest independent record labels in America, announces that he'll be forming a new label. And that new label will be called Federal Records. And Federal Records will specialize in R&B because King has kind of sidelined R&B at the time, and Sid Nathan knew he needed to focus on that market. So hiring Ralph Bass from Savoy Records to head the new label, Ralph Bass instantly signs the Dominoes, who are one of the most popular vocal groups of the time. Now, Billy Ward is the leader of the Dominoes, and Federal releases their very first record, Do Something For Me, instantly number 6 on the R&B charts. Their third record, though, is Pay Dirt. 60 Minute Man, released May of 1951, with lead vocals by Bill Brown, who has salacious lyrics about a young lady who can't be satisfied by her man, so she goes upstairs to see old Dan, and when she arrives with Dan for a little rockin' and rollin', she gets 15 minutes of kissin', she gets 15 minutes of teasing, she gets 15 minutes of squeezing, and she gets 15 minutes of him blowing his top. Now these wild lyrics sent this song to number 1 for 12 weeks, and then on the jukeboxes it became such a hit that it pushed itself into the pop charts at number 17, becoming the number 1 R&B record of the year. But was the beginning the end? Ralph Bass, a short-sighted man in this direction, signed Billy Ward, but did not sign the Dominoes to a contract. But with Billy Ward came Billy Ward's silent partner, Rose Marks, a New York publisher and agent who took control of the Dominoes and ended up taking control of the money, taking half of the publishing, half of the concert receipts, half of the record sales, half of the jukebox sales. Federal was under contract to play the money directly to Ward and Marks, so that the members of the Dominoes got actually paid $100 a week. And from that $100 a week, they had to pay their fines and expenses according to Billy Ward. So they had to pay for travel and gas and food, make sure those shoes are shined or I'll fine you. Now, all of the money that went to Rose and Billy, they got the publishing from every cover version, all the money went into their pockets. The live receipts from the concerts, they kept all the money. So in the end, Billy and Rose made all the money from the Dominoes. And since the Dominoes had released that record in 1951, it rose to September to 12 weeks at number 1, selling 3 million copies and becoming the number 1 R&B record of the year. Bill Brown, he had had enough. He is the singer of a million-selling record, so he quits in 1952, just after 1 year, to form his own band, The Checkers, who would record 25 sides for Federal Records and then break up by 1955. Clyde McPhatter, he would have enough by 1953, just 2 years later. And Amat Ungren found him in a hotel and said, "Put together a vocal group and I will sign you to Atlantic right now." And that is where Clyde McPhatter and the Drifters came from. Starting with their very first single, Money Honey, they became a successful band and that was even bigger than the Dominoes and a huge influence on Elvis Presley. Now, Clyde would get drafted, and that would put a halt to his career for a small amount of time, but he would make a comeback. Clyde's replacement in the Dominoes at the time was a very young Jackie Wilson, and it took them 3 years, and they ended up playing in Vegas. And in late 1956, they played in Vegas and met up with Elvis Presley, who was a huge fan of the Dominoes and was glad to see them live in concert. But notice Clyde McPhatter wasn't there. But he was impressed by their new lead singer, Jackie Wilson. So impressed that he loved their version of Don't Be Cruel. And when he got back to Memphis, he made the $1 Million Quartet run through a version of it Jackie style. Jackie's one of Elvis's favorite singers, and then in the end became a lifelong friend of Elvis Presley's. How much are these Dominoes records worth? Well, the Dominoes stock has fallen through the years, but here's a beautiful example of a gold-top Federal 45, and these used to be very valuable, but now go for about $35 to $75. Beautiful silver top second pressing from Federal. These go for about $50 these days. The most common version, the green label Federal 45, normally hits to about $10 to $20 these days, but watch out for an alternate version. The original EP from 54 that comes with a beautiful silver top EP. The top sale for that on eBay right now is $225. The 55 Federal 10-inch LP, the 16th rarest record in the world, top sale ever, $11,000. But now eBay $5,000, Discogs $2,650. The original 1957 Federal King LP, originally on the 2-inch King label in 1957. This album was reissued in 1958 with the Federal label, but they both have the yellow King cover. No Federal cover exists. On eBay, $733, Discogs $100. The 1961 pink cover LP with a 4-inch King logo goes for about $40 to $60. This is a 1988 MCA reissue. These go for about $25 to $30. A beautiful red vinyl non-official record. Clyde McPhatter got his own postage stamp in 1993. Well, when Billy Ward started the Dominoes, he dreamed of having a black vocal group that could play to the white pop audiences and make the big money. Get away from the Chitlin circuit and make the money. But he turned away from the music that was the most popular. And by the time these records started coming out in LP 12-inch form, Clyde McPhatter was a bigger star than Billy was. And Clyde had a long career. Billy retired by 65. Rose Marks died in 55, supposedly leaving Billy Ward $150,000, but her estate only contained $5,000 at the time. She apparently squandered all of the Dominoes' money. Now, this record right here is one of the greatest records that you can get your hands on when it comes to early R&B. But in the long run, 60-Minute Man is a great song, but it's an R&B risque blues number that was accepted by the white people. And eventually the censors would clamp down on it, and bands like the Midnighters wouldn't be able to cross over like the Dominoes would. The Dominoes went to Vegas and they became a lightweight pop band. They lost completely their entire fan base and disappeared into obscurity, to where even Clyde McPhatter, before he passed away, said, "I have no fans." So that's a sad ending to everybody. Billy Brown there, he passed away in the 70s. Clyde passed away at 39 years old, trying to make a comeback. Billy Ward lived all the way into the mid-2000s, and he probably lived off all the royalties that he had made off of all those boys. Now, running your band like a company store and charging everybody for everything, James Brown must have got a lesson from that. There's just no way to run a band. but we're grateful for Clyde and Billy and the great music they left behind. So thank you so much. This is Ike Frazier saying thank you again. Coming to spend time with me on this channel is really important. I hope that you subscribe. I hope that you like the video. I hope that you leave us a comment. And really, I hope that you learned something today and will come back and see us next time. I think we're going to jump to the future, though. So we'll see you then. And until next time, it's your old pal Ike Frazier and another vinyl show.